What would you say the role of corporate policies would be in terms of mainstreaming ethics within an organization? Driekie?
I think policies are of the utmost importance, because without policies you don't have the rules, and it creates the rules, the foundation on which we operate. And those policies need to be simple, clear and concise. And what we do is we have principle-based policies to set out the principles, and then from principle-based policies we have detailed guidance and implementation type of policies to give people very explicit guidance on how the principles need to be implemented.
I agree with what Driekie said. I'd sort of want it. I think we should regard policies as tools. Sure. It's not the primary measure. The primary remains your leadership and the role that they play. I just think these tools and these policies are critical, but we must put them in their right place, and they are tools for management.
What I keep wondering is how do you know if a set of policies are adequate and fully contextualized for a particular business? What's the litmus test?
Jacques, how do you know it's adequate? Well, I think you will engage that from your statistics that you have available to you. For instance, what we do is every year we have 27 different types of misconduct in the company that we categorize it according to. And based on that, and based on our challenges of what we have had the previous year, we would take all of that into consideration when we review and update our policies on an annual basis, to always make sure that it is current and that it addresses the issues that needs to be addressed. And also, you know, we have such good guidelines available, things like King 3, things like all the United Nations Global Compact documents and guidelines. And if you look further to sustainability, for instance, equator principles, all those type of things available that you can gauge yourself and benchmark yourself against international standard to see if you are actually doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of that.
Rules can never be adequate, in my view. That's why I always use the three-tiered approach. So there's a legislative framework which sets the broad guidelines. We have to comply with that in corporate world. It's comply or else. There may be a penalty, there may be a fine, there may be a reputational risk. The second tier for me then would be one's organization's rules. The rules, the policies, the guidelines, the code that you have to guide expected standards of conduct in your organization. The banking industry is going to be different from the entertaining industry, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're going to have different sets of rules, as long as those rules are clearly communicated, concise, consistently and fairly applied. Yes. That's fine. But the third tier, the most important one for me, is the values that one as a corporation then adopts and lives by. Ethical leadership then being the key in that. So we're setting certain value standards for us. Where there is no rule, the values guide me.
I think from a multinational company, and Driekie will also know the challenge is even greater, because you already have South Africa with this diversity, and then you go into jurisdictions outside of South Africa. And the challenge is there to get your own policies and regulations and your values. And they say you should base it on international best practice, but informed by local expertise. And so these are the values of the organization. Objectively, there may be arguments for or against them, but if you work in this organization, these are the values that we expect you to follow. If you don't see your way open to do that, then it's not an argument who's right or who's wrong. The fact is, there's no place for you in this organization. And I think that's how you should structure, and if you get that right, then you will know that your policies and your values are adequate and it's in place.